Imagine that we're sitting in your favourite café. You've asked me to give you an hour of my time in which to offer you the best advice I can about how to find a great job with an ideal employer. You followed the 40-day job search so far, and you understand the outline of the job hunting process that I recommend. Therefore, you know what to do. You now want a few tips on how to do it as well as possible. So the questions you have for me are these. What are the specific job search strategies I'd use if I was in your shoes right now? What would my game plan be? Are there any between the lines suggestions I'd offer you? Things that go beyond the basic techniques you've already learnt about? Well, our drinks arrive. You take a notepad and pen from your case and we begin. This is what I tell you in that hour. This is day 37 of the 40-day job search. Hello, I'm Neil Grant, the person behind the Vocation Master Training Programme, and I help you do better work. If you're looking for an employed position with a private sector organisation, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to show you how to transform your professional future by taking complete control of your next job search. Everything you get in this tutorial series is taken from my complete job search masterclass. You'll find syllabus and enrolment details for that at my website, where you can also take advantage of my free Job Interview Secrets video course. You get 3 hours of information, advice and action plans that go straight to the heart of my job interview strategy. I used to charge $99 for this short course, but I'm now making it available without any charge whatsoever to say thank you for showing interest in what I do and as an insight into how I work. If you want to nail any kind of job interview, you can't afford to miss out on this unique material. Just go to vocationmaster.com for free and immediate access. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and consider sharing it with other job searchers in your network. Thank you, and I really appreciate your help in supporting my channel. Alright, with those messages out of the way, here's today's tutorial. Now, in this final week's sessions of the 40-day job search, I want to offer you a few ideas that should help you achieve your job search aims as comprehensively as possible. They go beyond the basics and address key elements of success in your next job hunt. Some of them are pretty obvious, but others perhaps a little less so. Now I'm going to start with an essential strategy that I put at the very top of my list of recommendations, and that is to sharpen your axe before you start chopping down the tree. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, wait until the end of today's tutorial for a reference to this famous expression. So, the very first thing I'd do, the opening strategy I'd use if I was in your position right now, would be to ensure that I was completely psychologically ready for my upcoming work search. Now let me be honest with you. Anyone who wants to find a different job will inevitably face a range of challenges and pressures, whether they use a traditional method of looking for work or if they choose to use my strategy. And at the top of this list of job hunting stresses is invariably what's going on inside your head. For this reason, if I was about to embark upon an important job search, vocation master style, I'd prioritise my psychological toughness ahead of anything else. I'm not a doctor or otherwise medically qualified, so I'm not dispensing advice from a clinical perspective. Instead, I want to share my personal views about this subject, based on what I've experienced as a job searcher myself, and going on my observations as a professional interviewer, trainer, and coach. Now, straight off, a few caveats. I'm not suggesting that mind management is a universal problem, and I'm certainly not implying that everyone following my program will have difficulties in this area. What I am saying is that when bumps occur along the road with this type of proactive job search, it's more often than not because of attitudinal issues rather than with the practical steps I've introduced you to. The mechanics of my system are relatively straightforward. So long as you're disciplined enough to follow each part of it in a methodical manner, you'll be sure to succeed. If you falter, it's either down to not sticking to the program or because you haven't got your head sorted out. More often than not, these two factors are connected, which is why I put this strategy in first place. You may be an outlier, someone who's got total control over your emotions and thoughts, a person who never wilts or weakens when the pressure's on. But I'm prepared to wager that even if you believe you're one of these people, there are times when your inner strength dips and you start to question yourself and the strategy you're trying to implement. It might not happen very often, but I'm guessing it does happen from time to time. You wouldn't be human otherwise. By the very nature of a job search, your reserves of inner strength tend to become most depleted when you're in front of someone you desperately want to impress. Unsurprisingly, you don't usually feel the nerves kick in when you're inside your comfort zone, such as when you're in the planning phase or doing research from the comfort of your kitchen table. Instead, you find yourself experiencing the wobbles as you enter the interview danger zone. If you're like many people, you might notice a perceptible dip in the quality of your presentation. This is what's called performance anxiety, and it can be crippling. If it happens to you, your chances of success become instantly compromised. So, I recommend you prioritise a strategy that eliminates this possibility as much as possible. Fortunately, there are several reliable ways of doing this throughout your job search, but during the interview above all. Speaking of which, if you want to get a solid grounding in interview basics, I suggest you look at my dedicated Job Interview Secrets short course as a priority. This is the first step in understanding what's involved in performing at a high level during a dynamic, proactive interview procedure. I give you 3 aspects of mindset and attitude to think about, plus a 5-step strategic action plan. This is your starting point in crushing any kind of interview and getting the kind of high quality work that you really deserve. If you want to get ahead of the pack as quickly and effectively as possible, just head to vocationmaster.com for immediate access to this. Back to performance anxiety. And I believe that the main problem is a lack of confidence in yourself and in your ability to implement the job search strategy that you're following during hiring meetings in particular. For sure, there might be a range of other psychological factors that impede a great interview performance. But a failure to achieve the degree of success you aspire to commonly comes down to experiencing reduced levels of confidence. So, if my first overall strategic decision was to get myself psychologically prepared for my job search, my specific focus, the detailed aspect of this preparation, would be to develop some rock solid confidence in my ability to do what matters and to enable me to do it when it matters most. And that's when I'm pitching myself for a highly desirable job in front of a hiring decision maker. Now, I don't have the time or space to go into the theory of this in any detail, so I apologise to anyone who expects a back to basics primer on building confidence and psychological strength. Besides, there's a pair of much better qualified people who can explain why confidence and mental toughness are so important in high pressure environments, including crunch interviews. I've previously mentioned Nate Zinser and Steve Peters. That was back in tutorial number 34, so I won't repeat my advice from there. All I can say is that if you're serious about achieving the kind of success that the highest level job hunters enjoy, you absolutely must get to grips with this. Therefore, my unequivocal advice is to develop confidence and mental strength before you do any other job search activity. If you already feel fully equipped in this respect, that's great. But I've rarely come across anyone who wouldn't benefit from a review of their headspace. Even the strongest, most resilient and supremely confident people can become compromised at unexpected moments, sometimes in ways they couldn't previously imagine. This isn't a weakness, but a recognition of how things are in life and during job hunts. So, to recap, my principal strategy would be to boost my confidence levels and general mental well-being before I did anything else. I'd devote plenty of time to this activity and wouldn't move on with my job search until I felt that my mentality was as sharp as possible. And this brings me to the title of this particular tutorial. This is Abraham Lincoln's famous quote in relation to preparation. "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Okay, that's about it for the first of my suggestions to help you nail your next job hunt. I'll be back with another one tomorrow when I look at the importance of focusing your efforts on the things that matter most, which is all about maximising your job search return on investment. So make sure you check in for that. Until then, I do hope you find time to look at the 2 books I recommend. They'll undoubtedly help you, whatever your current state of mental preparedness. I'm confident of that. And lastly, remember that you've got the option of listening to my training materials instead of watching them, as I make all of these tutorials available in audio format. Search for the Vocation Cast wherever you get your podcasts, and via my website, of course. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with you again soon. Bye for now.